1, 2, chuffy, chuffy, 1, 2. 1, 2, chuffy, chuffy, 1, 2. Let's see this working. Excellent connection. Excellent kilobytes. Hi, where's the camera? There's the camera. That's you. 1, 2, chuffy, chuffy, 1, 2. Let's see this working. I don't want to say excellent connection. Excellent kilobytes. Hi, where's the camera? Wow. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, and people of non-specific denomination and gender, so just people. So, people doesn't roll off the tongue as well, does it? We're so used to saying, ladies and gentlemen, I put it to you, Amber, that you were stood in Johnny Depp's room and you did throw the bottle. I put it to you that you did stand in Johnny Depp's room and you did throw the bottle. I put it to you, so you might notice something different. I need to see if this is working now, if it's doing this artifact line. Is it doing the artifact line? Or is it just me at my end? It's just me at my end, isn't it? It is actually working. Look at the stream. Look at the crispy. Look at the crispy quality. It's not doing the artifact line, is it? It's just at my end on OBS. Weird. Okay. On my screen, I've got a little line that goes across. It looks like it's glitching, but it's not. I'm not wearing the hat. Something slightly different, isn't it? Something slightly different going on. What is it that's going on? Have you seen my little... Look. My little... Seen that? Oh. What's going on? Web browsing. Yeah, got the web browsing. You're used to that. You've seen that before. But what's this? Wide angle, 35mm. Mid-range, 35mm punched in. Close, 35mm cropped in. Still broadcasting to you at 1080p. Still broadcasting at 1080p. What? It's because I'm feeding the camera into the computer at 4K. What? We stepped up to 4K. Well, not properly. I'm not exporting down OBS in 4K because I don't know how. Honestly, I had a look at all the settings yesterday. I couldn't figure it out. It was like, do you want to upscale it? And I said, no, I don't want to upscale it, chuff. I want it to go straight out like that. Different microphone today, so different sound quality. Honestly, I had a look at all the settings yesterday. It's good, isn't it? Couldn't figure it out. It's good. Sounds good. I haven't even messed with it on the desk yet. I've plugged it into the desk. It's a different microphone. This is my boom mic, the big one that like a shotgun mic. You know, the big one that I use when I'm on jobs. Put it up there. That's that. New computer. We're now running on PC. New computer. And that's, like, when I say new, I mean brand spuffing, chunky new, expensive new. I'm not moving that camera around to show you. I haven't got the webcam set up for the moving things around and showing you yet. But I thought we'd try this today. So what that means is I'm a little bit out of sorts. I'm not used to all this PC malarkey. I'm used to my Mac. But I got it set up last night. And I thought, because, you know, I did say I'd dress more age appropriately, and someone critiqued the cap. You're an old man wearing a cap backwards, you chuffer. So I thought, fuck it, look, I'll just wear a jumper today. New start and everything. New start officially, this is, new start. So I thought I'd just wear a normal jumper. So you can't critique that. Normal hair, normal hat, nothing. No, I don't like it though, it annoys me. I can feel the hair getting in my face and in my eyes. Like one stray hair comes down and it tickles me. So I like to keep it out of my face like that. Well, I might as well just wear a hat or a band. Or I don't want to wear a headband. I'm not chuffing Boris Becker or anyone, am I? I don't wear a headband. I might as well just wear a hat. But, you know, I thought I'd give this a go so that, you know, make everyone happy at least once. And I've got chat, so if I go to web browsing, chat should be on screen there. Yeah, got chat. What we're doing today... I should have said this right at the start, shouldn't I? Just got excited about the new setup. What we're doing today is we're going to look at some tap dancing. What? What are you on about, tap dancing? Well, tap dancing is a joyous thing, isn't it? It's not so popular these days. It's not so popular, is it? It's not like everyone's always tap dancing all over the show. But they used to be, didn't they? Used to be in all the films. That's Calais Salland, he's not a tap dancer. Used to be in all the films. Used to be all over the show. Everyone was always tap dancing. Couldn't go down the street without bumping into someone giving it the old paradiddles on the taps. Could you? Couldn't make your way around Tesco without hearing the clatter of tap shoes, could you? But nowadays, no one's doing it. No one's doing it. I think partly because you have to have special shoes and you have to take like a board of wood with you, and it doesn't work everywhere. And I don't know. What I'd quite like to see, maybe, we will look for it in a minute. I don't know if it exists. I haven't even bothered to do any research. What I'd quite like to see is a modern hip-hop cross with twap. Hip twap. Trap tap. Trap and tap. A modern take on it. And we'll just look at some other joyous tap dancing. We'll look at Sammy Davis. We'll look at the top 10 tap dance movies. We'll look at some of the Britain's Got Talent, some of the modern stuff. And we will celebrate St. Patrick's Day because that one looks cool. It's not St. Patrick's Day, but we'll look at that video anyway. Yeah, we'll look at some tap. It'll be fun. Listen, I know you don't come here for tap dancing, but it'll be fun. There's another thing that we're going to do today as well, which is why I need so much fun. And I'll tell you other stuff as well. We're going to look at comments on the recent video. Darren Cole here has left me a comment. Now listen, I am not giving a big, Darren said this, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I personally don't adhere to these ideas. I don't follow the same narrative. You could call it a narrative. I don't. Like my perception of history, what I've learned over the years from multiple sources, not just in school, but of course school was the groundwork. But whilst I was at school, I was also watching the telly, reading books, going to places, you know, that sort of stuff. So I've got my perception of history. You might have yours, but Darren's probably got a different one to most of us, specifically regarding Celts. So we're going to look at Darren's. Look at the comment. Look at how big it is. I mean, I can't just let that go. Look at how big it is. Look at how big that comment is. I'm going to give it the respect it deserves and read it out on stream. Well, I say it's just interesting, right? And I've asked Darren, is that a copy-paste job or do you write it? Darren said it's half and half. He was late for work, so he copied what he previously wrote in another post. I mean, Jesus, Darren, if you're late for work, just don't worry about my comments. But yeah, that's a lot if you're busy. So I'm going to read it out, all of it. We're going to look at it. I won't be able to get to the bottom of it today. It goes deep on Jesus coming to the UK and Wales specifically being the original burial place of Jesus. It's big, this is. So we'll look at that. I don't think I'll be able to do, a whole episode on it today, but we'll just jump off from there. And interjecting with tap dancing to keep me happy. We're having relaxing music from the Nintendo Wii, from the old Wii days. If you need your Wii, I haven't been able to play with my Wii for years now. I keep my Wii in a box. But we've got the relaxing music, so that's our little setup for today. Right, that's our little setup. I'm just going to do a little bit more chuffing. Look at that. Look at that, we fade to 4. This is, at my end, it's 4K. And I want to say thank you so much to all the people who have contributed tippies and chippies, everyone who's subscribed over on Twitch, everyone who's subscribed over there, the sub bombs from Capital K, the constant support from Snippies. Nigel's on Patreon, he chips in every now and then on the tippies as well. It all contributes. It absolutely does, because I haven't been out spending it. I've been saving that chuffing stuff up. So what I've got over there, which you can't see because my camera... You can see it. Whoa. My camera just went off. It's back on. It's off. What's happening? What's happening, camera? Are you run out of battery already? I think you might have run out of battery already. That can't be right, can it? Maybe it's because it's going down the 4K wire. Maybe 4K takes more battery. Don't worry, I've got another battery. It's just over here in the room where the chuff is the other battery. I say don't worry, I've got another battery. Where's my other chuffing battery? I've got that prepared. See, I knew shit like this was going to go on the stream, so this is a bit of a fun one while I get the new setup working. Let's get the battery out. Come on. I can't get the fucking battery out of the camera now. Come on, you chuffer. Alright, that should be a new battery. Let's see, I've got power. Show me the battery, yeah, 100%, okay. That should be our new battery. I don't even have to change the focus on this because I've put on a manual focus lens that won't change. It's all just technical bullshit that's not interesting for a stream, is it? But I wanted to say thank you, and then the battery ran out, so I apologise. But this is what's going to happen. I'm on a new computer with a brand new setup. It turns out it runs the batteries hard. It runs the batteries hard, so I might not be streaming on this setup until I'm going to learn these things. I'll have to order one of those plugs that goes in the camera. It's expensive, so I've already got one, but it didn't work because I just used the Amazon cheapy one, didn't I? So I need to get the expensive one. So we'll get that sorted, absolutely. I'm learning, and that's why I'd rather do a little fun stream, look at the comments. If you want to comment in chat, if you want to bring up your Tartaria today, today's the day. If you want to, have a debate in chat or anything like that, today's the day. But usually I don't go deep on the wormhole comments, the rabbit hole comments, because I could then derail the stream completely and then end up talking for 5 hours about something in comments. But I do want to come back to these sort of comments. So if you want to leave a big comment, like we saw web browsing, like we saw. Oh, I've clicked tap dance.
Win at work.
Ah, shut up. Pop out. I don't want to pop out the video at all. Never want to do that. So stop asking me. Skip ads. Now I've popped out the video, you fucker, because you put pop ads. Put pop out right next to the skip ads. Don't do that. Right, just tap. Hi, I'm Bill. Right, that's enough. I don't like your video already. That's gone. What I wanted to say is we're looking at these comments. So if you wanted me to talk about a comment on stream, if you have something really specifically interesting regarding the Tartaria stuff that we look at, that sort of stuff. If you've got anything like that and you think, oh, I put it in the chat and he didn't read it. Well, that's because, as I said, I can't read every chat all the time. Sometimes it goes past a bit quicker and I'm concentrating on something else on screen. I do attempt to, engage with chat, absolutely. But if we're doing something that I've got pre-planned and I don't want to get too derailed, I just sometimes let it go past if it's too deep for me to deal with. So leave it in the big comments underneath the video and we might get to it. I try my best and pick them out. There's only a certain number of hours in a day, aren't there? So try my best. And so that's what this one is, our jumping off point. We'll do the jumping off, then we'll look at some tap dancing. And bear in mind, the picture quality is better. My abilities to work with stream are now better. I've got a close-up. We're going to now have another camera. This is something I just wanted to say this at the start. I wanted to get off my chest all this stuff about this. We're going to have another camera. I'm going to set it up over there. Just over there where you can't. And just in that corner there, there's a sofa. Right now, there's a sofa. There is. I haven't got another camera to show it you, but behind this box, just there in the corner, there's a sofa. Right, so what I want to do, this is already like a little studio set. I set it up already. I'm using this computer. The normal computer is still set up just there. I haven't taken down the old computer yet, because I want to see this working beforehand, and then I might move it up the room. I might not, because what I might have is this, and then I might have another camera over there, for the guest, like actually looking at the guest. I can even have a third camera on top of the computer looking at me for another angle, and I don't have to move around to set up the podcast. I just get someone in the room and we go. Yeah, absolutely. I'll click this button. I've got 4 HDMI input capture card ports on this computer. I bought one of those. Thanks to your donations and tippies. I couldn't afford it on my own, honestly. Struggled through the last couple of years. But stabilised through streaming, honestly. It's not a lot of money every month, but it makes a big difference to me. So I put a bit aside every month and we've got all the shebang now. I'm really grateful as well to my dad and my mom and my sister, because it was recently my birthday. I don't go on about it on stream, but I got a bit of money through for that and put it together with this, and here we are. Look, this is a Camlink Pro Elgato. That's gone in the magic box. I fitted it myself, you chuffer. I chuffing well fitted that myself. Feel like a pro PC, but you have to fit it yourself. It doesn't come. It comes. So you unscrew the front and you put it in. You force it in as hard as you can, hoping not to break anything. It's a bit like sex, isn't it? No. Look, you get that in there. I've done that. It's now got 4 holes at the back that are HDMI. I mean, that to me is absolute. I'm in the hypertech. I'm Elon Musk. I'm Elon Musk now. I've got 4 HDMI ports. I've only got one fucking camera with an HDMI export, and we're using it today, and I'm finding out how it rolls, finding out how it does. I used to use that HDMI export 4K, to record 4K for video work and filming. Now I've got a 4K stream. Well, I haven't quite, like I said. I've got a 4K input to stream, which means when I do the close, I'm showing you 1080p. So it's taking that big 4K image, squashing it down to 1080p. It should be nice and sharp. When I zoom in, you're zooming into a 4K image. That should still be 1080p nice and sharp. So I'm so happy with that. I don't actually have to have 3 cameras to get 3 shots out of this, do I? So if I put that camera there, my main camera there, and I pointed it at the guest, I might be able to get a shot of me. Like, depending on how I frame it, I might be able to get a shot of me and the guest wide. This is going to pop off all day now because I've got a hat. The hat keeps it on. I have got a hat, I just chose not to wear it for one episode. So I'll be able to get the wide of the guest. Sorry, the wide of the guest. I've got other lenses. Look, this is a pancake lens, really wide. I tried it yesterday. You can see my hands on the keyboard from here. You can see my hands on the keyboard. But I look like chuffing Popeye because it's one of those fisheye lenses. So I ended up looking like Popeye with my big arms close to the camera. So I don't like that one. But it's an option. It's an option. And this is the nice lens that we've been using for stream thus far. Sony. It's not the most expensive lens in the world. It's a Sony though, so it goes with the camera, and it's, you know, a couple £100 that. A couple £100. I don't want to bin it off. Obviously, I'm still a photographer, videographer, so I'm still going to use my lenses. But this is an old 35mm lens from a Nikon camera with an adapter. So I'm just checking out. I think 35mm is right for this. I'm happy with this. It looks nice and crisp. That lens is only £100. But we can upgrade that lens and get even better. But what I'm saying is, if we get a 4K camera over here, just like that, I can get that exact camera second hand now on the internet for £400. So I can afford a little cheeky 4K, or I could upgrade my current main camera to a new, better camera for about £1,000 to £4,000, which is a lot. I haven't blown everything in the budget. I'm expecting to buy another camera, but it's a lot. So we've got new targets now. You know, obviously there's always something new to buy, isn't there? But my new target is to upgrade my main camera. But do we get a cheapy one before that? Probably. And what it allows us to do, like I said, we have another camera here that can look at this part of the room. We can have people in the guest area talking. I can sit here pressing the buttons to change the camera angles. They've got microphones. We've already I've already set all that up, haven't we? We've already seen that set up. So I'm basically ready. The only thing I'm not ready with is working this new computer. But we're basically ready to start the podcast. Yeah. I want 2 more cameras. I've got the HDMI ports ready. And then that's everything. I don't need to... There's nothing else on my shopping list after that. That's me. But the new PC also allows us... Is this music rising triumphantly in the background or what? Why is my image static? What's going on with my image, YouTube? Yeah. I want 2 more cameras. Nothing. I've got the HDMI ports ready. And then that's everything. I don't need... Yeah, it's all good. Who are you going to interview? Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? That's a good question. So we decided to do this podcast last year. It was like a goal and aim. Now, I don't know exactly how I feel about it. For me, it's kind of experimental. Initially, when I started this stream, I mean, I don't think I one day will be Joe Rogan. That's not my aim. I just want to build something into what we do that could be seen as a media product that, like, another person, i.e. a sponsor, could say, oh, I can see that. Okay, I'm moving, I'm all good. Thank you. I want to be able to show a sponsor. I want to say, I'm a streamer. And it's not just that I go on every day and chat shit, but sort of once a month we do this podcast. Here it is. It lasts for 2 hours. And, you know, can you sponsor that, please? I think that's my avenue into financial security. I think the tippies and the chippies get us there. And then I think something like that, if I can get enough views every month, I can say, can we get a sponsor? That can be like my job. Do you know what I mean? And then everything else is like bonus, because I need some financial security out of this. And I don't want it to be me begging the audience. That's not for me. I don't want it. I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for the tippies, and that's what gets us there. I agree with that as a principle. I'm happy with that. But in the long run, you know, I don't want to be saying oh, every day I need you to subscribe, otherwise I'm poor. No, that's not it. So yeah, we've got this idea. I actually made a film. Where's my YouTube channel? YouTube. I'm just going to get used to using this new computer. So little things like finding my YouTube channel are going to take me a little bit longer. But your channel, that's us. And if you check our videos, I can actually search for, if I just put indie, it'll do it, won't it? Indie streams. Or loads of my games are indie games that I've played, so maybe indie's not the right thing to search. Maybe if I put film. Maybe not. We've done a stream, there it is, indie dev documentary promo reel stream. So this is my film that I made. Me and my friend Matt, filmmakers, went out to Sweden. I found this project in Sweden, right? And what happens at the project is the guy that made Candy Crush. You ever heard of Candy Crush? Yes, everyone's heard of Candy Crush. It was the biggest game in the world. So the guy that made Candy Crush, he has got loads of money and you don't need to make Candy Crush anymore. He sold the company and he's like, you know what, I want to give back to the gaming or community. I went on about how community was just a buzzword for marketing the other day, but so what he does is he lays on this camp, and what happens is if you're a game developer, any kind of independent, younger but it's not ageist, any kind of game developer, and you're a small team and you're trying to get your first game together and published, you send in your ideas, send in your project, and they'll look at it and then they'll select 15 people and they bring them to the Swedish woodlands. They stay in the Swedish woodlands for about 6 weeks, sorry, while they produce their games. They get independent publishers, they get all sorts of people like lawyers or people that come in and give talks and seminars and teach them things, and over the process they network with different publishers who come in and sign them up. And while I was there, the people that were there, their games got put on the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox, the PlayStation, PC format. One of the games, like, I've got it on my Switch and I play it, it's really great. So there's a lot of interesting different indie games being produced, and they are successful. It helps them into that real world of game development. From early stages, we're a little team, to we're fully realised living our dreams. So it's a wonderful thing that Tommy Palm puts on there. And I wrote to him and said, like, I've seen this little thing that you're doing and I think it's great. Can I go with my camera, make a film? He said yes. I went with my camera and made a film. I've tried to sell it to Netflix, didn't manage to. My partner in crime, my co-director, my team member, mate, whatever, like, he decided to go and work on some of the projects, so he's gone. I got left on my own and I edited the film, but I can't do the next step bit to sell it. He's the fella that did all that, in my opinion, so I wasn't able to take that next step with it. It's been a couple of years now. I've been trying to license music on the cheap without knowing what my broadcasting status is, so it's been really difficult for me. I need a legal team or a producer, essentially like an executive producer, to take my film, sell it, get the licenses for tell me how much it's going to cost, we sell it, we pay for it, all that. If that's not happening, I'm just going to show it us on stream. So I'll show you now quickly a little bit of my film, but the reason I've said all this is because who am I going to interview? Well, when we started this stream, I thought my passion was going to be indie games, playing them, and then interviewing the teams that create them. Simple concept, isn't it? I like indie games. I think games are artworks. I think computer games are artworks, and I think it's a really modern, exciting format that's really going new places. And I think that in years to come, we'll look back and we'll say, oh, this person invented that game at this time, and we didn't realise how special it was then, but now we see them as a bit of a pioneer. I think some people are going to rise up as like rock stars in a way. You know, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PlayerUnknown, one man made a game. The fella that did, I'm being sexist here, fellas, and one man made a game, one person made a game. But the Stardew Valley was made by one person, and you know, I think they're a bit quiet behind the scenes. You don't see their faces, shadow. But I think in the long run, people get to know these people as like creatives and see them as rock stars, creatives, whatever. So I wanted to make a film that sort of said that sort of glorified the indie development and this little project. And then I thought our stream could do the same thing. I thought our stream, we have done an interview with a game developer over Zoom. We played the Journey of the Broken Circle and we interviewed the game developer over Zoom. So we have done that, but I wasn't happy with my stream setup at the time. I thought the quality of the interview, whilst what we said was interesting, like my sound quality settings and all that weren't, I didn't feel it was as good quality, because I've made a proper film, bear in mind, so I'm looking at, like, I want to make, like we're stepping up to now, 4K, whatever. I want to make good quality media, and then the content to be good as well. So I don't just want a video out on my phone and it will be rubbish. So I wasn't happy with that. We carried on with Stream for 1.5 years before we even thought about doing another interview, because now I've got this, like I'm saying, I think the people should be in this room for a start. If they can't be, I've got a friend in Brazil. He's not going to get in this room quick, but we'll still interview them on Zoom. But what I'd like is for them to have good microphones, good cameras, and I can't push that at their end. Sometimes they don't. So, I have to just accept that. But if the majority of our podcasts can be in this room, then the odd one that's not as good quality because their camera over Zoom isn't so good doesn't matter so much, does it? It's not the flagship of the quality. In the room should be the flagship of the quality. So who would I like to interview? An eclectic mix of people that have views on how to make the world better, maybe. Game developers, definitely. Anyone in an area that I find interesting, for sure. Maybe some physicists, maybe some Tartarians. I don't know. This is my house. So I don't want anyone really dodgy coming to my house. I don't want anyone that might fly off the handle coming to my house. You know what I mean? Also, I believe I'm going to pay these guests. I believe I need to pay them. I'm not just going to say to people, you come and sit here and do my podcast. Bye-bye, thanks very much. It costs you your petrol money and I get everything. No. So I think a budget of somewhere between £200 to £1,000 per guest is about right. Obviously, £1,000 per guest is not right for some bus driver. No, nothing about nothing wrong with bus drivers, but you know what I mean. Like, it's about attracting guests is about paying them for their time as well. And so, if it's a not known person, an unknown person, like if it's my neighbour, then I shouldn't be giving them £1,000 to come and sit here and do me a favour. Do you know what I mean? And if it's someone that's getting something out of it, like broadcasting their charity or broadcasting their book sale or whatever, then maybe I don't need to pay them as much because they're getting something out of it. But certainly I want to set a budget that includes top level guests. I don't want to people are going to price themselves out of my market. I'm not going to be able to get Justin Bieber in here. I won't be able to afford him, but there'll be a range. And then I need to find an agency, I believe, or I need to have a guest booker, because that's another job that I'd have to do, becoming a guest booker. And it's something that I've found really difficult over the last 1.5 years to filter into my daily life. I'm not very good at emailing and chatting on emails and phoning people and networking. I'm just not very good at it. That's why I'm in the room on my own talking into a computer. Yeah. So I'm not particularly... No, I'm a bit worried about that aspect of it. So I'd quite like, in the longer term, to build a team here and for somebody else to do the guest booking and to say, look, this is who's coming in on this day. So I just have to turn up and run the stream, and I'll pay the guest booker, maybe less than a guest, but each guest you book, I'll give you 40 quid or something like that, and then we can start getting a process rolling and taking some of the pressure off me. And I'd also be open to the audience suggestion. Whatever people want to see, I think is a good idea to show them, because it would certainly be negligent of me to go down some personal, let's say I'm really interested, I'm interested in art, for example, and let's say I'm really interested in a certain artist and I do a podcast with them and it doesn't get many views. That's fine by me, that's fine. But if I then do the same group of artists every day for 10 weeks, just because I love it and it never gets any views, I do need to, balance it out with trying to appeal to people in the audience as well. So, but at the same time, I'm not just going to do, what's most popular or most shocking or anything like that. Another example is Johnny and Amber are having a thing, aren't they? I can't get Johnny Depp or Amber Heard in here, but maybe I could get a lawyer that specialises in domestic cases to come and have a chat with us, as things come up in the news, other different people could come here. That seems like a reasonable thing to suggest. So I'll give you a little preview of this film now, and then we'll watch some tap dancing as well.
Let's make my face disappear.
But this is my old stream, so I'm talking on it.
Some things that Sweden has given to the world. Listen up carefully, because here we go. IKEA, Absolut Vodka, ABBA. There you go.
What I'm trying to accomplish here, I'll give you a director's cut. Look, this is the computer screen, like when you turn it on. but it's widescreen like my film. Get Johnny Depp's stunt double, yeah. That'd be good. I wonder if he's still got all his fingers. What I'm trying to show here is that the hand of God, might turn it down a little bit. The hand of God, not like that. Like that. The hand of God is coding the world. Look, woo! This actually looks better on the final cut of the film. But the hand of God is coding the world. A little bit of computer code. Let there be. At first there was water, and then God created the earth. Let there be like all that. Like if you follow what it says in the Bible in Genesis, I've recreated it here in images with the hand of God being the coding hand. That's just a little thing. Like it's deep. Maybe not everyone notices it. That was what I was going to call the film. 10 print, Once Upon a Time in Sweden. And then the computer sort of does a little crash. I edited that. And that lovely music in the background, which I've just muted out now, is a piece of... See, this is how deep I get in my brain. Full screen. No, not full screen. This is how deep I get in my brain. It goes too far, right? We're in the Swedish countryside for this film, okay? So what I've done is I found a composer who lived in the Swedish countryside in exactly the same area. His name was Hugo Alfen, and I've used his music pretty much exclusively throughout the film because he did the same thing as these people did. They went to Sweden, they went in these cabins, they were isolated, they concentrated on their work, they did their artistic creation. Hugo Alfen decided to move into the Swedish countryside so he could create. He had a big family and he would produce art prolifically. So did his wife. We actually visit... that was somebody else that I described then. That was... Carl Larsson who did that, but Hugo Alfen did the same thing, but he didn't. He did the same. Carl Larsson did that, and he made chairs and art and all this with a big family. Hugo Alfen lived in this area and wrote music about the woodlands. So there's this running theme about Swedish people who move to the woodlands and get creative. And so our film is set in the woodlands, but the woodlands is also like a character in the film, a background, and it's about fairy tales and hopes and dreams and artistry. So I've used that music. That particular piece was a choral piece called Aftonen, which is about the forests of Sweden, sung in Swedish. So I want that music in my film. You know, that's the music I want. It's important. It means something more than just, oh, it's nice for the intro. I've created an introduction here that said God has created the world through coding. You know, are you living in a simulation? God has created the world through coding, setting our scene of where we are and what we're doing. It's computers, it's nature, it's beauty, it's Sweden, all in that little intro. It's divine. It's divine. The ability to create is divine. That spark within us that separates us from the beasts, you know, that's divine, that's divinity, isn't it? The ability to create. God is the creator. He creates man in his image and women and people of non-specific gender, and we then go on and create. You know, that's what I'm saying in this intro. So it's really important to me to have the music that I've chosen, but I haven't got the license. So we can watch it on YouTube and it will just say, oh, copyright. But if I try and broadcast the film in a cinema or sell it to somebody, then I need to pay for the license. So when I try and pay for the license, the people that own the music say, where are you broadcasting it? Is it going on Netflix? And I say, I don't know, because I haven't got a deal yet. And they say, well, how much budget have you got? And I say, not much. I say, don't worry, we can't work with you. But if I got a producer and Netflix saw it, or any other, you know, Amazon or anyone else, because the last film I worked on was on Netflix. If someone saw it and liked it, then they could say, oh, here's the budget, 25,000 or whatever, upwards would be great. And this is how you get the, you know, I'm a producer. I call up the music people. I'll do that for you. You know, a little 10% of your money or whatever it is. And I'll be happy with that. I'd happily pay a producer 10%, an executive, and they do all the paperwork. They get the music license, because now we know where the film's going, because we're getting the money from them because they want to broadcast you know what I mean? It's like a catch-22. If I can make that happen, then it can happen. If I can't, then it don't. But I can't make it happen without knowing if I'm broadcasting it somewhere. And until I get a broadcast deal, so that's me. But this is where the film goes. This is the film. Not all of it, this is just a little promo reel.
I heard about Stugan by chance because I was following this developer who was here last year. I really liked his game. I won't say which developer, I don't want to encourage the competition. But
the point of Stugan is to bring together game developers from all over the world and have them work on their games here for 7 weeks.
When the first time I heard about it, it has the tagline of like in the middle of the woods for 2 months with 20 people.
All expenses paid, and they just need to focus on the games. We bring in mentors.
I really wanted to see this place. It's here in Falun, in the center of Sweden, in the center of the forest. There is the lake.
We've got this beautiful wood cabin.
So you get the gist. They're out there making computer games. I've made a film. They're interesting people. They say interesting things, and
That's me. You need to have like a PR department. That's me. So
that's Sauce. He made McPixel. I don't know if you heard of McPixel. A lot of these people have worked on games that you will have heard of and know as well. There's people from Nintendo in this. One of the people that used to do the Nintendo Directs is in this. They're all playing Dungeons and Dragons there. The guy that made Clash of Clans is in this. Yeah, there's lots of notable people, but I don't like label them all as such. I just like let them all roll through the film and like be themselves. I don't know. It's a lot of contributions from a lot of interesting people, and that's my film. So I'd like to build towards not just promoting, but showing the film to the world through this channel, through the Twitch channel maybe. And part of the podcast, I believe, should be supporting that in getting game developers or people in the game industry, because down the road where I live, in Warwick, there is a university there, and the university has recently built Europe's largest gaming centre. So it's like it's a load of computers in a room. You know what it's like. It's a fucking load of computers in a room. But what it is it's there for LAN competitions. If you want to do the Fortnite World Championships in Warwick, you can, because they've got the centre all set up for you. So it's that sort of thing. And I thought we should do some liaison with them, get some people down to talk games, talk industry, talk competitive gaming, all that. That's all in my area of interest, and it will build towards showing the film on the channel.
Yeah, approach Marlow like this.
Showing the film on the channel and hopefully getting something out of it, because I spent about 6 grand to 10 grand. 6 to 10 grand, that's my budget on that film. Wasn't a lot spent out there making it. But I did buy a computer to edit it. But yeah, I spent some money making it. I'd like to recoup some of that money. That's what I'd like to do. But if I can't, I'd just like to show it to the world and have it on my CV that, you know, here's something great that I made and shared with the world. And it's about passion, and it's about art, and it's about love. So I'd just like to get that out there, yeah. And I think if we can bolster it with some interviews that surround that area, because the whole film is interviews about gaming, isn't it? And I've got those interviews full length on... So happy for the new setup, yes. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you for your tips and chippies. It has literally contributed. You know, you've bought this mouse essentially, haven't you? So, and maybe the keyboard and another bit. And do you know what I mean? I really appreciate it. And I haven't just got any old mouse. I don't know if anyone saw that. Like, my sister put the order in, so I don't know what that is, but it's some kind of special mouse. And that. People are going to be jealous of this. I don't even know what it is. That's a Steel Series. It's the world's fastest gaming keyboard. My sister has become a bit of a pro on the old gaming. She's got a computer a bit like this as well. I can't show you the computer yet because I haven't got a camera that can tour around it plugged in, but you know, whatever. It's a big box. It's black with things in it, and they're all plugged in there, and they whir and whistle, and some of them are green. Snips bought a computer, you bought that. Well, you know what I mean though, like, all this stuff is all important, and I'm not saying like, you know, anyone's contribution is any less important. What I'm saying is they're all equally as important, and you know, I should think of, every time I use any of these bits and pieces, you know, when I pick up the mouse and the key, I think of these lovely people who have helped. So that's what I mean. That's all I mean. And I can go like this, look, I can go wide, I can go mid-range, I can go close. It's all still 1080p at your end, because I'm putting 4K into OBS. I'm not exporting in 4K, I'm not broadcasting in 4K, but 4K is going into OBS. So when I crop in, it's still 1080p. It's a massive step up. Obviously now you can see every blemish on my face, which isn't a positive, but it flashes. Yeah, it flashes on the screen because of the frame rate or something, I guess. But at my end, it's just lovely colours. I don't want it to be colours. I prefer if it was just not colours. It's actually slightly distracting to me, but you know, I'm sure there's a program that you can fix it with, but I haven't bothered. I'm not bothered. I've managed to turn the fans green in the computer, and that's enough for me. I'll leave it at that. Not bothered. Eventually, the computer's going to go under the desk, and no one's going to see it, so it don't matter. I can override the transition, the fade transition. Okay, I might have a look at that. Yeah, I might have a look at that. Let's set the transitions to cut. How about that? Look, what do you like? Just like a hard cut. Boom, boom. So there's lots for me to get into and work out. I need to get Steam. Gonna get Steam, and then I can play any game in the world. Do you know what I mean? We can then open that out. All the other things on stream, like there's a game where you play marbles and you can pick a marble. All that can be done now. All the Streamlabs slobs, I haven't done that yet. I'm still on OBS. But anything that I wasn't able to do before because it's not Mac, I can now do. And that also will include this little thing. I've gone all out, look. This was actually a gift for my birthday. Stream Deck. It's got buttons. I'm on OBS. I'm alright with OBS. I'm using OBS. It's the one I couldn't use was Slobs because the Streamlabs version, all the add-ons were Windows. All the add-ons were Windows. So now what I've been able to do is I can get specific translation. Oh, I can do specific. You see, that'll all become part of this, won't it? That's my next thing to learn about. This box is what I'm hoping will. I'll press the button and it will cut to the podcast, and then I'll press the button. I'll be zoomed in on my face, and then I'll press the button and everything will turn off. You know, that's what I'm hoping for here with these buttons. But I need to learn it. It's a new thing to learn. And again, software, PC, all that will go into. Give it time, little grasshopper. At the moment, I'm just checking it all works today, and the battery life and everything. Trying to get the angles right. 2 more cameras. The podcast is set up. I've got an HDMI 4 gang in there. I've got the Camlink Pro. Got that. So there's nothing stopping us. Just the only thing we were chatting then about the guests. So I'm happy to have an eclectic choice of guests. And like I say, I'll be honest. At the moment, the thing that's holding me back from guests is me. And part of it is my inhibitions. You know, my shyness. At calling up strangers and saying, would you like to come on my podcast? How much money do you want? Is 250 enough? How about I give you a bit extra for petrol and get you a hotel room? Like, because where I live's quite nice, Stratford. It's quite a nice place. So people should not be, it shouldn't be horrible to them to want to travel here, get paid, stay in a hotel, should it? They could deal with that. I've made a list of people who I'd like to approach, but to be honest, most of them are like high end, aren't they? Like, and I doubt that I'll get them. But I need a guest booker. I need someone to help me, and I need to get this whole thing set up properly. So there's not. At the moment, there's cardboard boxes everywhere in here, and my headphones keep popping off because I'm not wearing the hat. But when that's all sorted, things will happen. And when I get in the flow as well, you know, I think it's one of those things that once you jump that first hurdle, and then get a few people in, you start to. I mean, I've already had a couple of friends say they'll do it, and I'm quite happy with that in a way. But like, obviously, they're not going to be 1 million view shows, are they? They're just going to be us getting to grips with the setup. So I'm really happy that they've offered. So I will be doing that. But once we get in flow and in sync, you know, it'll be a lot easier for me to say, right, let me start writing some emails. Because at the moment, I'm scared of even doing that, and I've written a few, and I get scared and funny. I've tried to find agencies, and the ones that I have found are just like, oh, you have a podcast and you've got a budget. How about giving me £10,000? And I'm like, no, not a budget like that, mate. Like, they all want to know what your budget is. Why? Because if you tell them how much money you've got, they just tell you that plus 10. It's weird. I just think I shouldn't tell them my budget. They should tell me how much it costs. Agencies. The button box is the Stream Deck. That's called Stream Deck. I can't show you the box for it because I put the camera on the box for it to lift it up because I need to get a bigger tripod for the camera. Look, my setup sounds good. It sounds good in principle. But if you were to see the mess I'm in, there's all boxes and the camera is on boxes. And do you know what I mean? It's like that. I need another monitor as well. I need another big monitor, 4K. I haven't been able to get that yet. There's always more expensive, another thing, isn't there? Because it's quite funny that I've got a 4K stream, but I can't see that on my telly. We haven't got a 4K telly in there. If the main telly in the house was 4K, I'd bring it in. We haven't got a 4K telly in the damn house. I used to use instead of a monitor, I use an old telly. So it's no good. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. I need to upgrade to a proper gaming monitor, double deck, triple header. I don't know. So yeah, takeaway boxes. Yeah, it's that sort of setup at the moment. It has been, but I'm trying to. And that's another thing. If I invite a guest in here and they just like, because the bit you don't see over there and over anything you can't see is covered in boxes and crap. Like over there, I've got every wire I've ever owned, and all the wires are tangled together with PlayStation games and headphones. There's batteries and bags. I've put everything that doesn't need to be seen on stream goes on that. I need a new set of headphones. They're coming. I've got to think about it carefully. If I wear a hat, it doesn't happen. If I wear a hat, it doesn't break. It just stays on my head. But there we go anyway. So there's so much to do. There's so much to do. Yeah.
Puzzles. It's a little bit of a spiritual game without trying to change everyone's existence. But I think I want to believe that I'll always be sort of here.
So there we go. We're going to get to it all. We're going to watch the film. We're going to get the guests in. And today I have promised this comment and some tap dancing. So we'll watch a quick tap dance and then we will do the first comment. Let's go with this one because it's only a minute. Oh, here's that advert that I've seen over and over again. And whilst I do find her quite endearing in her facial expressions, I'm never going to use Hotels.com simply because I'll remember who they are from that advert and that's put me off for life. What was that? What was that? I was expecting tap dancing. I didn't know I was going to get this. Look at this. Well, I'll tell you what, lads. Bright green for St. Patrick's Day, but start with your heads bowed as if in prayer. But then straight up to camera. I've never seen a shot like that in my life. I've never seen a shot like that. It's such an idea. What an idea. I might start doing that. Should I start doing it on stream when you tune in? Should I just be like that? Like it's like someone put 10p in and they woke up. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're little dancing puppets. It's like they're Pinocchio puppets and they've just been enlivened by someone putting 10p in the meter. There's something in the top right of that wide shot. Right, let's have a look. Wide. Oh, it's not perfect yet. There is, isn't there? You chuffer, what is it? It's this light. It's so difficult. It's so difficult, I tell you. You can see this light in shot as well, but... I need to crop the wide shot a bit, don't I? So it's not got all this crap in it. Or I need to move the crap. But yeah, that's what I've been faffing around with for the last 48 hours. So all I got done in the last 2 days was this, look. Well, that's enough, isn't it? I can do what Limmy does now. Do what Limmy does. It's enough. We will improve all these things. We will. We will. They just woke up. Quick divide. That was. Oh, is this like a montage? It's like a cheap montage. It's a cross dissolve to a. There was a dissolve to a castle, and then those shoes are like dropped in. There's a lot of passion and energy and interesting ideas gone into this, even if the execution is a little bit soft around the edges. I think this is quite a good video already. Look at them on the scuffed up toes. Someone's worked hard in those. There they go. There they go. There they go. Arms folded. And now we're going to chase the camera. Whoever's made this video, I bet they had a good fun making it because they've come up with some interesting ideas, haven't they? I'm going to nick some of those ideas. I love that shot. I love the shot. I love the way they're both like so solid in frame. Like it's like the way they because they're in sync. I'd like to see a shot now. I suppose I've got a car and a road. I just need loads of people running at me in sync. I'm not happy with all the dissolves though, there's too much dissolve. I get what they're trying to do, they're trying to like, what I would have done is put a mask on this maybe, so the dissolve is just in this, you know, so this kind of fades in and out of the chest maybe, but this, the image around the edges of the road and the buildings, I don't need that. I think what we're trying to show is that the tap dancing is in his heart, and that's like the rhythm of his heart. So I think we just want to fade around that, like put a mask on it and just have it over the... And now it's confusing. I can see too much information that I can't understand. I do, like Nigel was saying about my hard cuts earlier, I do more hard cuts now. Once you've used that dissolve to create the sense of feeling, I then, because the tapping and the shoes are like hard dramatic. So when I show close-up of tapping dramatic hard shoes, I'd probably cut to that to increase that drama. And it's interesting, I think they've used the sound live of the tapping, as well as, I don't know though, I think they've recorded the tapping sound loud and live and overlaid it as well. But it's certainly a strange thing, because when you see the video initially, you know, you're expecting to see these two lads tap dancing in sync next to each other, a bit like a mini river dance in the road. But what we're actually getting is this strange combination of collage shots. All that lichen at the top on the rock becomes like a starry sky in a way, which is interesting, but it also creates a lot of it's a lot of sensory input, isn't it? It's a lot of sensory input. With dissolves like this, I often feel that you want, like, the grass and all that is sensory, is little lines. I want as clear as possible. I want my surfaces and my textures to be as clear as possible, so they fade nicely together. Any information like that becomes quite a lot of contrast in the fade, I find.
I think I was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir.
That's our tippies. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you. I'll, for the first time ever, I will open up coffee. I've set this up. So, no, your page. I've set this up so it just goes like that, straight to my page. Not the behind the scenes, straight to my page. Here's Nigel's brought me a coffee look, everyone. So it's this page here. Oh, when I scroll down, it jumps straight to the top. Here's a tip to go towards Stewart Lee. Exactly. Thank you very much, Nigel. Thank you. See, look, Nigel brought me a coffee. My headphone's going to pop off. And I put it on the screen and I say thank you. And yeah, Stewart Lee is about £1,000 plus. He's about £1,000 plus. He's got an agent. He's not got a Twitter, which makes him harder to get. But he's got an agent. And I've looked at their agency. What's my phone ringing? Oh, it's my sister. Sorry, I have to just wait. He's got an agent, and I've looked at the agency, and they're a proper agency, and I think it's in the, you know, £1,000 plus ballpark. I haven't even bothered to. He's on the list. He's like top of the list, but I haven't even bothered to send the email. I know he lives in the area. He's in Warwickshire-ish, isn't he? He's in the West Midlands-ish. I think so. He might live in London these days. I don't know. But I know he knows the area. Say that. You know, he knows the area. So a little hotel room and a couple of £100. That can't be bad, can it? There can't be anyone in the world. I mean, if you're busy like Stewart Lee and you're doing gigs, maybe not. But, you know, if you've got free time and someone says £250 and a hotel room, plus your petrol, bring me your petrol money, your travel expenses, whatever ticket you want. If it's a train ticket, I'll pay that. You know, I can't run more than £500 a guest, really, because I'm not going to make any money out of it at all in the early stages. I'm hoping to build something that can eventually, like we say, gain a subscriber base and a sponsor. But initially, I'll just be coming. All these tippies what I've been saving up, that I've now spent on the computer and this and that, I now have to build another budget for paying guests. So, you know, if anyone hears me saying this as well, and they're like the local window cleaner or the person from Warwick that wants to, like I said, there was people at Warwick that are running this computer game centre. Like, if they come, please don't ask me for 250 quid if you can come for just 100. You know, if you'll do it for 50 and you don't need a hotel room, just do it for that. I've said 250 as a sort of what I believe is fair to somebody for a day rate. If I was going to go out on a job, if someone was going to book me for my camera work off the internet, off one of these websites, I'd look for about £250 for the day. That's what I'd want, and my expenses for my travel. That's what I'd see. I think it's a bit more than fair, to be honest. I think, you know, the average person works for about £40 to £70 a day for just any old job, window cleaning or whatever, hairdressing. But in the media world, it starts to go up, doesn't it? So I'd be looking for that for camera work. That's probably quite cheap for camera work. For then editing on top and making the full product, I look for a little bit more. A full music video, we're looking at about £1,000. It's about 3 days work for me. Maybe more with the edit, because I actually put a lot of passion and time into my edits. But, you know, I think it's fair, isn't it? I shouldn't go on about money. It just makes me anxious. These two lads, for example, there's two of them. Hey, that's the move. That's the move. That was a good edit. I like that. The boards are gone. You know, if I was to say these two lads, maybe we'd have to just say only one of them can come. I have got 2 microphones, but maybe only one of them can come, because I can't afford for them both to have a. And they could bunk up in the hotel room. They could sleep top to tail. They'd be all right. But if I have to, you know what I mean? It might get expensive. So initially, I want to just have a building process of me learning to do it. The hat's going on. That's it. The hat's going on. No hat today. Just popping the headphones off. I fixed them with the gaffer tape, but the gaffer tape's got unsticky. I should get some super glue involved. So yeah, early stages, it probably won't be the best podcast in the world either, because I won't be able to afford all the top line guests, but we might find some really interesting people. But here's another thing, right, that goes on in my brain, is I watch Lex Fridman because I like Lex Fridman. I think he's really interesting and clever, but I don't live in Silicon Valley. I don't live in Texas. So there's going to be a limit on what kind of people come in the podcast, isn't there? Because I live in the middle of England. So for a start, they've got to be in England. So it might not be, you know, we might have to build up to the bigger guests, mightn't we? The guy on the right's better with the arm movements. Yeah, he does seem a bit more sharp. I think you're right on that. I think he was slamming, on this move, the good move, he was slamming it in. He seemed to be enjoying it more as well, didn't he? Don't fall in. Something else I just realised is that the weather's awful for all of these shots. It's like a grey, dour day, but at least it's consistent. Visit Ireland. Thought he was going to go down the steps then. Whoa! Oh! Oh! They like a bit of shuffling on the internet. They should just do that as a TikTok. I bet they've got a TikTok. Just do that. Forget the other stuff. Just do the steps and find bigger steps and more interesting steps. And just do the steps. I bet you, I'll tell you, this is money in the bank. Obviously, it's not going to help in the long term if you want to develop a media product. But if you want a bit of a quick viral video, get yourself doing that and get yourself doing it up a big load of steps. And when I say a big load of steps, I mean a big load of steps. Or if you've got any famous steps, like the Rocky steps. Do you remember the thing from Rocky where he runs up the steps? Do that up those steps. And then you... See, it's fun, isn't it? Right, the reason we're doing tap dancing today as well is because we've done so much of this Tartaria stuff over last week. It gets me down. So I wanted something fun and joyous. Now, I know it might not be the coolest thing in the world. And I know that hip-hop and, you know, trip-hop and trap and, like, trance in the house room. I know it's all cool, isn't it? But I'm probably not cool anymore with trance in the house room. But it's all cool. But this is joyous. You can't do that up the steps and not be smiling at the top, can you? You can't do that move up the steps and not be smiling when you get at the top. Yes! Yes, and they're wearing different shoes for that. Little cheekies. Little cheeky boys. And he's got different colour trousers than his mate. But little cheeky boys, are they brothers? I don't know. Little cheeky boys. We are the cheeky boys. We are the cheeky boys. Ascending sideward moonwalk. It's good, isn't it? Oh! Don't fall down the steps, lads. That looked dangerous. Here, I would have just moved him down the road a little bit so that this pole on the right-hand side wasn't in shot. I think that kind of spoils the shot. But I'd have just moved him slightly down the road. Because as you can see down the road, there's a lot of it. But it is a nice shot, isn't it? With the focal point disappearing off to the centre of that road like that. Nice symmetry. These are nice shots. I think if this videographer had a slightly better collection of lenses. We all suffer with this. None of us can afford all the shit hot lenses and cameras. But you give them a slightly better lens and camera, they get a lot out of it. And I think if you light it better, you know, we're just beholden to the daylight here. But you light this in some way. Maybe do it at night time with some big... What I find so wonderful about lighting at night time is you can create some really fantastic effects just by moving the lights. So like you put a light on a slider or on a skateboard and you roll it down the you know, behind this wall and it like shines out from behind the wall, or you can fly it over the top with a drone and it creates really, I think you get some really interesting effects. Maybe you light them with a set of car headlights from behind us pointing at them. Maybe you do that. There's a lot to it. Oh, the scraping slide needs panning more. Yeah, there's a real conversation to be had in your brain about panning and movement in shots, right? Because they've set up this stable static shot, they're going to get this whole shot. I would then shoot the exact same thing again but handheld from the same place, shoot it again, get them to do it over and over. This is what we're doing, get them to do it over and over. I'd then step in and move around with the camera. I'd then shoot it again, maybe with close-ups in mind, shoot it again but just the feet, you know, build up this run of multiple different shots. Then in the editing lab, I would put them all on top of each other. It gets a bit heavy on the old edit, so if you do more than 5, my computer starts to chug. But you get them lined up on top of the other, and then you can chop between them, you know, jumping, literally just cutting little sections out and moving between them. There's a button on Final Cut Pro, you press V and it makes it blanked out. So you can see what it looks like without that shot, with that shot, without that shot. Then you cut it and say, I'll keep that bit, these bits are blank. You know, I'd layer them up like that, and you'd get this much more dynamic change in your shots, punching between them, but all in the same sequence and order of the dance. Fine. The only issue with the movement and the panning, I would say, is when we're at this end of the scale, my end as well, I've got a nice tripod. I'll get it and show you. This costs loads of chuffing money. And you don't get everything all at once. You know, you don't get everything all at once. I've still not got a cinema camera, you know. But you don't get everything all at once. You have to be careful which way you, I suppose I should say, invest with this sort of stuff. So I've got... Where's my mid-range? That's my mid-range. I've got this. No, I can't keep the headphones on. They won't keep on without the hat. The hat seems to keep them on. This is a Manfrotto, so it's got fluid movement. It's expensive, and you might say, well, you can't spend all that money on a tripod before you buy a nice this and a nice that. Nice this and a nice that. You haven't got all the nice lenses. Why are you buying a tripod? You know, why you haven't even upgraded to a cinema camera. Why are you buying a tripod? But the important thing is that when you talk about these moves, if you're not using a fluid tripod, you know, if you're not using a good one, if you're using some little plasticky thing or, you know, a mobile, whatever, if you're using something cheaper that's not got the fluid ball head, then when you do your moves, it can judder and shudder. If you've not got if your camera's not got shutter, what it's called, shutter, There's an artifact you get if you move too fast and things look blurry on a line, diagonal line. I've forgotten what the name of it is now off the top of my head. But, you know, if your camera's going to do that, if it's going to wobble, if your tripod's going to wobble, then sometimes the moves are just more trouble than they're worth. Because you'd spend all day trying to get them smooth, and then you look back in the edit and they're fucking wobbly, and you just think, I can't use that. So sometimes it's better to get static shots and then be solid than waste time with moves that are jerky and because your gear's not good enough. Of course, if you've got a nice fluid tripod, and it seems like a lot of money, but that's one of the first things that I think are going in the bag, because it means that all of the stuff you do isn't fucked up. It's so horrible to do a whole job and then come back at the end of the day and look at your stuff and say, oh, I didn't realise there was a crack on the lens, or I didn't realise there was a fly in the ends, or I didn't realise I was juddering on my movement. There goes the second battery. The batteries are going quicker, aren't they? Jeez. One more battery then. Once more into the breach, dear friend. What was that? The tripod fell over. And it's heavy. And it's heavy. Once more into the breach, dear friend. Final battery now. Final battery. So what I think will happen is you'll come home with a load of wobbly shots maybe if you try too much. Obviously give it a go. I'd say definitely, yeah, do the panning shots. I'd agree. Do a take where you just pan the shit out of it. Panning this way, panning that, and back all the time. Because you don't know which one is going to work the best when, maybe. And maybe you've got an idea of which one's going to work the best when. So yeah, maybe use it. But I'd do it as a whole shot. And then take it back to the edit, put it down on top of the timeline, and say, okay, that's a good one there, that's a good one there, that was a good one there, which one do I want the most? You know, that sort of thing. But if you've got this foundation, I'd call it, when you're filming, certainly stuff like this, media packages, general views of things, and certainly for a music video like a band, I think your foundation is the performance, wide angle performance shot. Do it twice. They might perform differently in the second time. Tell them as well, obviously they're trying to perform in sync, aren't they? But if you're watching a band and like the guitarist does something cool, tell them beforehand, listen, if you're going to do something elaborate and cool, remember, I'm going to want you to do it every time. I don't want you to be behaving differently all the time, because I'm going to try and sew the shots together. So we're going to do 10 takes of this, and I want you to, you don't have to, doesn't have to be exact, doesn't have to put your marks on the floor where you stand or anything, but generally, I want you to do the general same sort of stuff. It's like a performance for this video. So think about how you're going to do it, have a practice. Maybe the first take isn't the best one, you know, because of that reason they're practicing. Maybe the second take and the third take, they think, yeah, I'm doing this now and I'm here and yeah, give it. So maybe I do 2 takes of the wide shot, but that's your foundation. Then the next static shot, like I said, of slightly closer in, sorry for touching the mic, or taking it handheld and moving around, you know, that's my next layer on. I want those things to be so solid that if I had to, I could just edit between those 3 shots and you've still got a good thing. Because everything else on top, all this, the pans, the movements, the clever angles, all that, it might not work in the edit. It might be a good idea in principle, but sometimes you get in the edit and you just, oh, I don't know how that, I don't know about that. So you want to make sure your foundation is rock solid. That's why I shoot those things about twice, like I said earlier. But this is pretty solid, isn't it? You know, there's nothing awful about this wide shot, and I'm really enjoying their tap dancing. Oh, they were just slightly out of sync at the very end. Do you know what I'd have to say? And you have to be brutal about these sort of things because it's recorded forever on video. I'd have to say, sorry lads, you were slightly out of sync at the end. Do it again. And also, why are your trousers not the same colour? That's something I'm going to have to try and fix in post.
Got it. Got it.
Are they filming that themselves? Are they filming that themselves? In that case, I'll let them off that, everything, because you're not monitoring it. It's much harder to self-shoot. Much harder. And if they're doing that themselves and they're doing the dancing, I'm impressed. And this is where it blows my mind, but also does my head in, because if you're doing that yourself, right, it's got 4.5 million views on YouTube, so you probably think I don't need anyone else to help me. But if you'd hired me for 750 quid to £1,000 to create that, I'd have shit all over it. I'd have made such a good video. It would all be crisp quality. All those things I just described would have been very similar, but just upper level, and it would have been so much worth it for you. I mean, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe that £1,000 doesn't sound like it's worth it because you've still got the 4.5 million views. But it annoys me a little bit as a videographer that people are out there making their own videos for these things that actually, that's taking the next step really, isn't it? Maybe they should be hiring someone for that, because like if I was to learn to tap dance, I'd hire them. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've all got our specialities. Yours is obviously tap dancing, so let somebody else take over this video bit and really take that next level step up in your video quality, or do it yourself. But then there's a whole, you're a tap dancer, not a videographer, so why would you want to? I don't know. But I do think it was very, very good. That was 2021. I do think it was very, very good, and it shows you how much you can get out of a phone these days, you know. But yeah, in this sequence, a bit of zooming in, a bit of movement. I'll tell you what you can do with the panning. You'd need to get an extra 1 million views to make it worth paying someone £1,000. Yeah, in terms of direct from YouTube money, maybe. But this has got 4.5 million views. But also, it's about what you're projecting into the world. So for £1,000 or 750 quid, my 3-day rate maybe, because I do a day shoot, try and get it all shot in a day, work hard for a long day, and then I'd go away and I'd edit for at least 2 days on that. It'd be a day for me to line everything up, color grade, do all these sort of things. Another day for looking at different options, moving things around, getting things in line. I'd do a 3-day job at a push. I think I'm worth that, or any video producer is worth that, because it takes this next. Suddenly it looks like Netflix quality. I can shoot that in 4K for you if you want. And then if I'm shooting in 4K, this is a top tip, that like we're doing today, because I'm in 4K, right? Where's my wide angle? Like that. That you can see now, when I shrink it down to a quarter of the screen, that's 1080p, that bit. 4 of those is 4K, yeah? I mean, you probably know this, don't you? 4 of those is 4K. So one of these corners is 1080p, but 4 of them together is 4K. So when you punch in, when you zoom into something like that, it's still 1080p. If I've got 4 chances, I've got that much space at 1080p. So I can take anything I can make that sort of size frame anywhere on the picture. I can grab any bit and zoom into it. So I can do a pan or a move in the 4K image, and you can't you don't have the same depth of field change. You don't have the same perspective change, but you can create zooms, moves, things like that within a 4K image. So you shoot at 4K, you export at 1080p, and you can use all those zooms and moves. So if you shoot this wide shot in 4K, if you shoot that wide shot in 4K, then in the edit you can do zooms, punch in, look at your feet, look at this, look at that, and it still be 1080p, still be YouTubeable. So I think there's that as well. But generally, what I'm saying is that you improve the video quality to such a standard, because we're talking about this kit today, aren't we? I've probably got so much kit here now that even if you want to start making a video tomorrow on your phone, it's just too much kit to buy in one go. You have to build it up and build it up. And there's people out there that are better than me, that have you can punch into any of those bits, so anyway, there's people out there that are better than me, even that have better kit, that probably charge the same money. No, I charge the cheapest and I've got the best kit. No, I don't know. But I don't do lots and lots of video jobs these days. I'd rather do what we're doing today more. But it's just interesting, isn't it, that I feel that next level, that presentation of your product, of who you are, would make a big difference. It's not about YouTube views anymore. It's about something else. It's about how you are perceived in the world, how the news media perceive you, how professional you look, at what you're doing. Because at the moment, whilst it looks great, it still looks like amateurish, and they're not amateurish in their dancing. They're quite up there with the dancing. I would say the trouser colour is a big issue for me, but the dancing's quite solid. But the actual, that interesting start, these choices here at the start. All you need on top of that is a bad bit of text with a bad font that you think is jazzy, that moves, some kind of animated font, and then you're just making it on your phone like every other TikToker. You know what I mean? It just takes it down a level, which is a shame because the actual quality of the content is worthy of that next step. So I'd say start off like this on your phone, but if you're up to 4 million views, if you're getting that many views, you should have an editor and someone filming you. Maybe separate people. I do everything all together, and I'm not suggesting I should do it for them, but if you're up to that standard, then it's great that you enjoy doing the videoing as well, but it's time to take the next level. Lots of shorts. I'm not surprised. TikTok and shorts, is ideal for this sort of content, isn't it? Ideal for it. Fucking loads of shorts, look. It's all shorts. Wow, and they're doing it all themselves, aren't they? Yeah, well done. I'm well impressed. I'm not saying it's bad. I just think they're ready to take the next level step, and they should probably just get, pro people involved to help them do it. Now, another example is being a music recording person. A lot of us who make music record on our own at home. A lot of us do, and I actually think the levels of kit that you've got at home is so good these days that you can get away, not away with, like you can do it. I remember having a conversation with my mate who is a sound engineer, and they were being quite sneery about I said, well, I can basically do what any studio can do these days because I've got my little AI, what am I trying to say, audio interface, and I can put it on a computer. And he said, what's your preamps like? What's your preamps like? Because in the big recording studio, even their preamps are top dollar. Obviously my preamps are not that good, no. But I don't think the average listener listens to my tracks and says, not very good preamps on that, are there? If you're in that upper echelon of like Michael Jackson, absolutely yes. But when Michael Jackson recorded his albums, the kit that he was recording on wasn't as good as what I've got. My computer these days, certainly the new one I've bought, is better than they had in the 80s. Isn't it? You know what I mean? So there's certain things that are better. Obviously my preamps, my guitar is not as good. But the processing power of my computers far outstrips what they used to be able to do. So we've got a kit, we can use it, it's really good. It's really good. But if I were going to record an album, and it was actually, I start out at home, I do everything at home myself, but when it gets to that bit, if someone said to me, we really like your music, and talking to that, I'll show you a new track. I am... Light Horse is my new channel, and my new track is called Stand Over. So when I record this track, I'm not interested in going to a recording studio and paying money, because this is just me chuffing stuff up on the internet. But if someone came along and said, we really like what you're doing, would you like to put together an album? I'd be like, I wouldn't be like, yes, give me 6 weeks and I'll return with an album. I'll do it all at home. Some of it I could do at home, but there'd be some things that to take that next step into the quality level that is accepted as standard in the industry, even though I think it's a bit sneery and a bit like, oh, we're better than you because we've got more expensive stuff. In honesty, I'd probably even hire musicians. I'm not that good as a musician. I can write it, I can perform it, but if I wanted someone, if I wanted to make it shit hot, I'd go into a studio and I'd hire a guitarist and a drummer, and I'd let them do those things because they're better than me, and that's how it'd work. So obviously I'm not doing that with that, so I can see that these lads are not doing that on their videos, and they're very successful. So I'm not saying they have to, but what would they get different? They'd get a really sweet, shit hot looking video, wouldn't they? A really shit hot looking video, and it might not be worth the money, maybe, or maybe it would, because maybe it'd put them in that upper echelon. Maybe people would think of them differently in a certain way. Maybe they could crowdfund the cost. I don't know, but I think it'd be really good, and then they'd have that as well, forever immortalized, forever. Can't take it back now, but yeah, that's what I think. Let's just quickly look at one of my music tracks just to show that I make music, because I like showing off. And then I will show you this big comment, and then Okay, so if you want to listen to all of that, that's called Stand Over, and it's on Lighthorse, which is a channel I've just opened up to upload music onto, because you know me, same old G. It's got a feel of Where Is My Mind. Thank you very much. That would be wonderful, because they are wonderful. And I agree, some things can be overproduced, and some of the best things that I've ever loved were not made in those expensive studios, I guess. So maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe you want a bit of everything on the spectrum. But, you know, some of the best Nirvana records that I really loved were raw and rugged. But then also, let us not forget that Nevermind was, like, super produced, and so was some of the later stuff in Utero. And that just took on a new life. So I can't see, you know, I haven't hired a singer, a guitarist, been in the studio. I don't see the difference. But I think if I made that same track in a posh studio, it might come out a little bit better if I paid people who are really good at their jobs to do them instead of me doing everything. So I made that in this room. You know, this room's got reflective, it's not even the best room for doing it in. It's not, I haven't got sound dampening. Maybe it came out the way it came out better because of it. Maybe it sounds as a complete thing a bit more organic. I don't know. But that's my feeling on it anyway. So yeah, that's my little song. Made it in my little room. Let's get relaxing music, and I'm just going to check out the window because I think my sister might have arrived at our house. I don't know. No, nobody's at our house. Nobody's at our house. That was weird. I thought my sister had come round because I'd heard the door go, but no, maybe it was just robbers. So let's have a look. One thing I will say as well, the battery's going to run out. We're on third battery now. It seems the 4K exporting is chugging the batteries. So when battery runs out, end of today's episode. So let's get into this comment, because I promised it. And I'm not going to be able to go all the way through it. No, the British are Celts. So I've said earlier in this video, not today, but in this video that the comments on, is that the Celtic people were the people that lived in England first. They were people in the middle of the country. They've been there for a long time. Then then the Romans came and pushed them out to Wales and Ireland. Angles came in and did an invasion. They pushed them out as well. Push. Celts, Angles. Vikings came and pushed them out. Normans came and pushed them out. So, and you know, there's all these other people, invade. So the original British people, the original British, are Celtic really, and they've been moved through this process of invasion and what have you. Like the Boudica generation have been moved to Ireland, Wales and Scotland. They got pushed out. I mean, that's the facts as I was taught them, as I learned them. So I said that in this video, but Darren has given us a different account. So we're going to look at the account. I can't do a full video on it now. I'd like to, but it's going to be huge to get into this. The Celtic narrative was created in the 1700s to hide our past. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but the old link with Italy comes from migrations from Egypt and the tribe that settled there on the way, the Etruscans. It's why you can read all the Etruscan with the ancient Calabrian runic system. So I don't know about that. It goes on. Christianity was born in Britain. The first Christian church was built in 37 AD in South Wales called St Illyd's, following the return of Isu after the crucifixion event to the land of his fathers, the only non-Roman occupied country on the east side of the Atlantic. He was given the title Dewi, meaning one with God, the patron saint of Wales. This was subverted and applied to David to hide this. David in Welsh is Dafydd, for one. His grave is on Ynys Dinas, Pembrokeshire, next to the city of the Cross. So basically we're saying like Welsh history is the early history of Jesus, and that these are not British people. They're like, it gets confusing though. The descendant and mother of Constantine lived next to here. The north end of the cross on period maps you'll see Jericho and also Constantinople. Empress Helena built a tomb for the Holy Cross. Joseph's buried inside the ruins of Blackfriars next to Cardiff Castle. There's a Bethlehem, which is like, so Bethlehem's in Wales. So what they're basically saying is it's all in Wales. As well as the Mount Sion, the mount with the sign on, and Mount Sinai, the mount with the sign high, and the reason the Brecon Bacons are called. So he thinks those Wales, it's like Mount Sinai is in Wales. It's, as far as I can understand, it's not, but that's what is said here. Not from there. There's Twin Eglo, place of the Ark. I mean, this is like a whole. It goes on, so I don't know how. I mean, look at it. Look at all this writing. The basic premise is that the Welsh. Basically, the basic premise. The German puppet monarchy installed in the 1700s changed our history, and that none of the British are Celts. They're the tribes that migrated from Egypt, and the Celtish people have been hiding Jesus' body, like, you know, like it's a bit like King Arthur and the Holy Grail stuff. It's a bit like that. I don't want to like poo-poo and sound like disrespectful. But personally, I'm not down with any of that. But there's some interesting concepts, like the idea you can read hieroglyphs using Egyptian hieroglyphs using early Welsh. But Egyptian hieroglyphs weren't necessarily like they're pictures, and Welsh is a language. I don't know if that's a fact. Exeter was named after the Exodus, Surrey was named after the Syrian tribe, Somerset was named after the Sumerian tribe, the River Severn named after the Sabbath. The landscape is coded in the place names to teach us. I don't think that's true either. I think if we spend some time looking into this, we can find and debunk, but I'm not going to do that now. It's an episode for the future, isn't it? But I promised we'd look into that comment today. So I put, did you write all that, or is it a copy-paste job? Because I'm interested. I want to know, is that all just, has someone sat there and written all that in one go on the phone or whatever? Because it's a lot, isn't it? I want to get a feel for the person. And Darren said half and half. Some of it was copied, some of it was pasted, and he's late for work. So I've said thanks, there's enough here for a video series. And Darren said, you're welcome. So I'm not coming across on the internet now like I'm like, oh, Darren's stupid. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. But I find it, like, fantastic is the word I'd probably use, in such that it's almost, in my mind, sounds like a fantasy. I find it so interesting that it's hard for us to verify what I consider to be history, because they'll say, no, you can't have that, no, you can't have that. But I think we should do an episode on history, like 101, try and in 2 hours show examples of and evidences for each step along British history that doesn't include, like, maybe they need to come up with some history evidences as well. I don't know. But wow, like, what an interesting, I think the coolest thing about this, I think that sounds so Game of Thrones. I think you could take this long comment and I think you could write a book out of it. I think you could turn it into an interesting fantasy fiction. But Darren will assert that it's just just fact, not fiction. But I'd like to see some evidences of these ideas. Otherwise, I just think they're really great ideas. They're really interesting. In the same way as King Arthur, the sword in the stone, the Lady of the Lake and all that, they're interesting ideas as well, aren't they? They're fun. You can have a nice sit by the fireside telling some stories. But if I was to take it as our actual natural history, there's another question there for me. So I think we need to dig into that and having a good look at it on another episode. But what an interesting comment, eh? What an interesting comment. If anyone else has got any interesting comments about Tartaria, please keep leaving them. I'll keep looking into them. There's a lot for us to get through, and now there's something new on the list, so something new there. Let's have another look at a tap dancing video. Let's have another look at a tap dancing video if we've got time. Sammy Davis Jr. This is the one I wanted to look at. Don't know what that is.
C'est the juice.
Shut up, frankly. And this can shut up and chuff off. Glue. I don't need any glue. Get away from me. See, this is the sort of shit that my granddad used to like when I was growing up. You'd see it occasionally on telly, and it'd be like, back then, this was the main thing. This was like the hip-hop of its day, wasn't it? Look. Like, Sammy Davis Jr.'s there on the big main stage, on the telly, and they're all watching him do the tap dancing. And it didn't catch on, did it? It didn't stick around. It petered out. No, you don't get this on the telly these days, but back then, this was like the main thing. And they'd look at that and they'd think he was cool. They'd look at that and they'd think he was cool. And it is cool. That was cool, wasn't it, as well? No messing about Sammy Davis Jr. I love that. There's something in the rhythm of the there's something in it, isn't there? Like when he was just doing this, he was looking really relaxed, but actually he was banging in all the notes, wasn't he? 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana, like banging in all the notes. Foot drumming. You could hear a damn pin drop. A pin drop. Look at him go. You hated tap class as a kid, sucked at it. It's not as easy to make. Oh, absolutely, yeah, it's not easy. My sister used to do ballet classes and tap. It was like they had 3 kinds of dancing back in those days: ballet, tap, and modern. And the ballet obviously was the main one that she wanted. Young girl, she wanted to be a ballet dancer. Then tap dancing was thrown in there in between that and modern was also popular, like hip hop and modern dancing. I don't know, I never went, so I don't know, but I imagine it was more modern dancing. And then tap was thrown in the middle. She had a pair of tap shoes and everything. She gave it up though, yeah. It hasn't caught on. I find it so weird that it was like the height of, like it was like the main thing back then. Like, you doing a bit of tap dancing? Yeah, let's have a look. And now it hasn't. Like, you don't see it so much. I like that. I hear the rhythms. That's what I'm hearing, because I like drum and bass, and in my head I'm hearing like it's like, I know it's just his feet and the taps, but to me, like, what happens is somewhere between his feet and my brain, it turns into this like full drum kit, this like full like Brazilian marching band in my brain, like like that's what I'm like excited. You only have to do the little rhythm. You only have to tap that little rhythm out, and I'm in my brain. There's something primal and tribal about it. Not being like trying to be rude and racist about Sammy Davis, of course, but there is something, you know, the instinctive pull to the rhythm and the amplification of it inside my brain. He went off, he was in, his tempo changes there as well, doesn't it? It's his time signature went, like, that was lovely. We used to, in bands, I was in bands for a while when I was younger, and the drummer, I love it if the drummer does that, and I put it into some of my tracks where instead, do you know what I mean? Like that change in signature, I just find it so exciting in my brain as well. A little bit of flamenco came out there as well. So I find it so weird as well that it's you know, everyone's gone completely silent. He's doing his thing. He's tap dancing. He's just doing his feet mainly. It's a bit of upper body, just doing his feet mainly. Sammy Davis does it like no other as well. He's a bit different to the others, and he's got this. He's in this almost spiritual Zen state now of he's just in the flow, isn't he? It's like he's some kind of jazz tapper, like creative storm happening, and you don't know where it's going to go and where it's going to lead. It's a lot like a drum solo as well, and drum solos are always enjoyable, aren't they? Ah, it's just his foot still going. It's not him doing it, it's doing him. Hey! Samba! I could see Riz Ahmed playing him in the film. Ole! No one's shouted anything yet. As well, I get excited when I'm in audiences, even at the theatre. I think it's appropriate to shout at the theatre because I know that way back in the day, Shakespeare's day, they'd have even thrown things, mate. So, you know, just be grateful I'm not throwing things. I'm all right to shout at the theatre. No one else likes it. But I think it's all right. But I can't help it if it's like that. I'm like, ole! When I play pool, when I used to, especially when I was drunk, if I get a good double, if I hit the double, ole! You know, it's shout about it, mate. Everyone in the audience is so polite. Yeah, like he's changing tempo and whatever you call it, pressure, hardness, how hard he's hitting. He's changing that. There's so much in his performance. It's just his feet, and everyone can get it. Like no one has to be educated on what makes like what he's doing. Like, you can hear that the rhythm's getting faster and slower and louder and harder, and like you can see it in action. And like you say in chat there, like probably a new chatter, aren't you, or have I seen you before? I don't know. It is not as easy as it looks, but we can all just understand what's happening. It's like instinctive, isn't it? So there's something really human about it as well. A range, that's what I wanted to say. He's got such a range in his tap dancing. They were moves as well, weren't they? Those little slides, they were moves. There you go. Hey. Whoa! He's doing the twist. Just, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
This
but,
75
hey, you shut up. You can shut up. I want a picture of Sammy Davis Jr. You can shut up. What's that? 75 headlamp take. Shut up. Everyone, like, you get a torch. Oh, it's a torch. There's always a new torch you've got to buy. Shut up. But you're not going to see that again, are you? People like, are you? Are you maybe? Is it going to take off again? Finally, I just got to quickly bang this out. We're not going to get to do the top scenes in movies. I can feel the battery's going to die before it. So let's go modern straight away. Let's get into this. This is up to date now. This is it happening today.
Hello, Manchester.
Hello, Manchester.
Great, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, who are you?
We are Tap Attack.
Okay, where are you from?
We're from all over, but we train in Swindon.
It's like little Harry Styles, isn't it? Tap Attack. Oh, man, these headphones. Tap Attack. Tap Attack. Tap a tap. Tap a tap. No, Tap Attack. Tack Attack. Tap Attack. Tap Attack. Don't make your name a tongue twister. Make it more easy.
Okay, did someone put this...
Swindon.
Did someone put this together?
Actually, my mum put this together.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and if you win, how do you split the money?
I think we would put it towards creating a show for us.
So the ambition is win the show, world domination.
Exactly.
Good, great.
With tap dancing in the modern times.
Fantastic.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know how they did, but we're just going to have a little look at their routine.
Oh, I feel nervous for them.
God, I wonder if because in all the other tap dancing we've seen thus far, the floor has had to be specially put down, you know, like a big tappy bit of wood. But this is just a normal stage, so I wonder if they've got any issues with that. Urban tap dancing now, look. And you can tell because you've got a thing in the way that you can't, because I can't see them through the fence, so it's urban. And I would have I'd have cheated this, right? What I'd have done is I'd have just recorded the sounds of the tapping on the track and had it on the track, so to accentuate, they're still doing it, but I'd accentuate it, because the tapping sounds rubbish here thus far, doesn't it? It sounds like scuffing rather than tapping so far. That fence is in the way, we can't see what they're doing. They're slightly out of sync, which is making the sound rubbish as well. That fence is awful because it's just completely in the way. And they're trying to be more aggressive with the movements, aren't they? A bit more of a modern tap. Oh, there we go. They have used the drums to try and keep them sounding good, but that just sounded like someone was dropping a load of peas on a tray. A load of frozen peas on a tray. Didn't it? It wasn't as sharp as those two lads. In fact, the more people you have, the harder it is to keep it in rhythm, isn't it? So I'd probably cut two of these chuffers out. I'd probably, whoever's the worst two, just bin them off. And that'd up your quality straight away. Like, there's a lot of complex tapping going on there, but all you're really seeing is people pushing a fence out the way. It's like someone travelling down a gravel drive, isn't it? Like, it needs to be a lot tighter, it needs to be a lot sharper, a lot more crisp. Super Mario World. Everyone knows what I'm talking about there. Super Mario World. That's when you turn the Koopas round. Amanda Holden with a fixed smile. Like, how does she go through the whole day with that face on the whole time? I suppose it's not originally her face, is it? That's not her original face. She's had it adapted, so it probably doesn't change. But that's not a good look. Like this. I've got a button. I've got a button I can show you my face. It's like that, isn't it? Oh, there's a lot of strain in that. Like that. It's like almost manic staring. Their eyes, they're not both looking in the same direction. That's cocaine's done that to her. One's gone on the wonk now. She's done so much cocaine, one eye's gone. It's not just... Anyway. Not the right one. That's it. That's it. Let's go. Let's go. Amanda Holden enjoying herself with the tap dancing crowd. The music's quite inspiring, but I'd have gone for a slightly lower... Maybe they put it on over the top in the edit, I don't know, but lower music, higher tap dancing sound. I'd have put something on the stage, to be honest. You've got these fences, you're bothered with that, fuck that off. Have things on the floor, because it really accentuates the tap dancing. Maybe different surfaces, like a wood, a steel, maybe... See, listen, Scotty Hottie. Scotty Hottie's got it. Scotty Hottie's got it, right? You have different surfaces, so now you've got like a steel band, haven't you? Under the sea, down where it's wetter, that's where it's You could do all that. You could have all that going. Look at me in 4K, you can see all the bits on my jumper. Are they bits or are they holes in the knit? No, they're bits. They're bits. Tell you what they are, they're bits of this. See that? In 4K now, you can see that in 4K. The actual outer surface is coming off. I've had these headphones for nearly 7-10 years. Nearly 7 to 10 years, probably 10 years. So all the white of the headphones is coming off and it's going in my hair and on my shirt. It's not dandruff. It's not dandruff. Honestly, it's just bits. 4K now. It's one in my eyebrow. Chuffy now. So yeah, what I'd do is I'd have different surfaces to accentuate the different sounds. Ceramic. No, it'd break, wouldn't it, ceramic? But I'd have different surfaces to make different sounds with. Maybe you could have a hollow surface, like a kind of drum that you could tap on. Or maybe you could have like a tube. You know, you could create an instrument out of it. A tap dance / floor-based... You know, you could do something with that. You could do something with that. But they've left out the most important thing, which is to make the taps clear and crisp. I've chuffed 2 of them off. Whoever's the weaker 2, whoever can't keep in sync, because somebody can't, chuff them off. Have the nice, crisp tap sounds. The music's a bit domineering, and the music's not very modern either. The music's a bit of a rubbish choice, in my opinion, of musics. I'd have gone for something a bit more modern and a bit more like street. I'd make it. You can't just make it street by giving them army jackets. You've got to actually, you know, make the rest of it street as well. Because otherwise, they're just dressed in more modern clothing. But otherwise, there's nothing else modern about it, is there really? I don't think it deserves that big round of applause. I think it's just a sort of average tap dance routine. But quite often what you'll get on this is you'll get people who are destined to be stars in they're nice middle-class people, and Simon Cowell knows their mom, and you know, a lot of the time on this sort of show, it's not just, oh, who are you? I've never seen you before. Would you like to have a go? It's Simon Cowell's got like 3 or 4 acts that he'd like to project onto the public. So they're going to come on stage, he's going to pretend he doesn't know who they are, and then he's going to say how good they are, and it's going to be this journey and this story. But actually, what it is it was all pre-planned beforehand. How do we promote my new music act? How do we promote them? Or my wife's friend's tap dancing crew? You know, we'll put them in the show, and we'll pretend that they're new to me. It's just a big... the whole of the Modern Talent Show thing is just a big advert. It's all an advert for whoever they want to promote to you. But you know, they're big on those tap dancers. rousing standing ovation. I don't know why that got a standing ovation. It didn't do anything for me.
Thank you. Alicia.
You know what, guys? I really appreciate how much hard work all of you must have put into that routine. Choreography was fantastic, and all of you were on a mission. You're like, we will win this show. Fantastic audition, well done.
But slightly out of sync, and that's the main thing for tap dancing, is to be in sync. And there weren't any impressive moves. Nobody did anything. You just moved those fences around. I would have binned off the fences, frankly.
Yes. This was really cool and edgy. Well done.
It wasn't cool or edgy, though. It wasn't edgy, was it? There's nothing edgy about it. Why is there something edgy about it? Because they had a fence on stage, David. It's almost as if you're being paid to promote certain acts.
Well done, you.
Well done, Mum. You're cool and edgy. Because they're wearing army jackets and there's a fence.
I love tap dancing anyway, but this to me felt really modern. I love the whole...
It did, again, I don't think it felt modern. I think they're dressed modern and you've got a fence and you're on a big modern stage. But the actual act of tap dancing was no different from any of the other tap dancing we saw.
kind of scenario and the whole story behind it.
Like they needed to invent new moves, maybe create some parkour elements. Like I said, put different flooring down. I'd have used some concrete maybe. Something mobile, like on wheels you could use, you know, like skate jumps. You know, I'm talking about that sort of acrobatic element of showmanship that could have been fed into this to make it a bit more modern, or even urbanize it with more, you know, hip hop style. I mean, that's probably me being old now, isn't it? You know, like Dr. Dre was the halftime show at the Super Bowl recently because it was a lot of nostalgia for people. But a lot of people thought, oh, that's up to date and modern, isn't it, having Dr. Dre? No. We're old now. The modern kids are doing something more different and modern, so...
Behind it all. What did you think?
I liked the fact that it wasn't overcomplicated, but you made good use of the staging. I liked the song a lot as well, by the way. It was good. Well done.
Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Simon can't bring himself to lie and say it was amazing. It was good.
We're going to vote, David.
Maybe they improve over the course of the show. I don't know. But, you know, I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just saying. I didn't get a lot out of that. Let's have a look at the movies ones then.
I want to tell you.
Oh, you want to tell me something, but you're not going to because I've chuffed you right off, mate. I don't like you anymore. You've gone right. The Little Colonel. Never heard of it.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo.
Oh, Emily. Don't start talking through it. Just show me the top things. Kiss Me Kate. Never seen it. But look at that. I mean, that shit's all over those kids on stage. What's this? The Artist. That's more modern, isn't it? 2011. La La Land. I've never seen that, but obviously, from what I can see here, they're just trying to recreate the golden age of... that guy's not even dressed properly. Gene Kelly. He's not even dressed properly. His trousers aren't... They're too wrinkled. Look at his shirt all wrinkled. You wouldn't have a... His clothes don't even fit him properly. How did they get away with that on La La Land? I've never seen it. It's clearly a soundstage as well, isn't it? It's obviously a soundstage, but his clothes don't fit him properly. And the moves...
For this list...
The moves aren't as impressive either as the original Hollywood soundstage moves. So La La Land was shockingly bad for me there.
We'll be looking at unforgettable century.
Shut up.
Go.
It's too darn hot. In this musical inspired by
Why are you not showing us? Why are you talking over it?
Report every average girl you know much prefers her lovey-dovey to court when the temperature is low.
And that's just classic Hollywood of that era, and it reminds me a lot of Singing in the Rain as well.
Throughout her career, Miller 500. This began because she think to her, this one is unbeatable. Number 9.
You only got to see those little bits of that, and she talked a load of shit all the way through it. This Mojo channel's rubbish, isn't it? How do they get the million views? It's rubbish. We're not going to get to see any of the tap dancing, are we?
Is this sequence considered one of the best tap dances in Stare, with production whopping 100 a day.
They've edited this. They haven't put the volume up for this one.
The revolving mirror to float.
Rubbish. What?
In Happy Feet, Mumble is unable to sing to attract a mate, so
They obviously didn't want to do the copyright for the music there, so they want to talk all over it. I mean, what the chuff? How can your top 10 tap dance scenes in movies is computers? Chuff off.
according to director George Miller, dancer and choreographer Savion Glover and his distinct dancing style was a perfect fit for Mumble's unique character. Number 7. Table Dance.
I now want to watch Happy Feet. You chuffers.
Pardon my...
I didn't know they actually did. I thought they would have done. I thought they'd have been sensible and made all the sounds like this. No, they have an actual dancer. Bollocks, do they? They have an actual dancer for the advert day, for the filming day. Come in and film the dancer in the studio. Brilliant, yeah. And then he's like, right, brilliant. I've been filmed. I've been booked. I've done my filming. This is going to go great. When do we start doing all the stuff for the movie? We don't need you for the movie, mate. Just for the advert. Not for the movie. For the movie, we're going to do this. Chuff off, you.
Sarong. In this Abbott and Costello film, the tap dancing group Tip Tap and Toe show off their silky smooth sliding moves.
But you wouldn't get to see or hear it because you talk all over it because you just don't want to do the copyright. You want to make sure you get the money, but you don't do it. So you're not actually showing us the things you're telling us you're going to show us, Miss Mojo, because you're just a cheap channel that is there just to like clickbait and get money.
Throughout the 1930s...
God, you only get that much? Just chuff off. I can't watch any more on this channel. It's the worst. Top 10 dance scenes in movies. Not really, though. Just some dance scenes from movies and just little tiny bit of clips of it. I want to see the actual dance scenes. Shame. What do I think is the best tap dance in a movie? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen all the movies, but I'd probably go with something from... what do you call it? Singing in the Rain, I suppose, wouldn't I? I'd choose Singing in the Rain. Look, Gene Kelly, some of his greatest work, that'll be alright. This is the man. And you'll see now what I mean. The La La Land Ryan Reynolds wasn't dressed properly. You'll see Gene Kelly here be a lot smarter, a lot more buttoned down, a lot more tight in his clothing, and not all wrinkled and rubbish. Now we're watching tap dancing. Now look, I just paused it in the middle of the dance. Look how much wrinkling there is in his clothes. Hardly any. Only as much as you would get from dancing. Not all rubbishy wrinkled around here because none of it fits. And he's tight in his clothes as well. His clothes are tight because he's Gene Kelly. When he spins around, make sure to look at his backside. Look how neat. Look how neat he is. Look at the clothes. They're ironed. Look, he's not wrinkled. Doing Charlie Chaplin there. Britain's Got Talent kids, doesn't it? And most of them there are just sitting around the table. No one in the Britain's Got Talent group could tap dance like him. They didn't have a solo star. They didn't have a solo star, which was a problem. And the Britain's Got Talent group were all out of sync. repeating moves, because he does have some moves that are in his arsenal that he brings out every tap dance, but... These were like skateboard tricks. Like if you were tap dancing, you'd have your tap dancing moves that you could do, and some other people could do special ones that you couldn't do. They're like skateboard tricks. See, Gene Kelly shits on them. Singing in the Rain, let's get this one. This is Singing in the Rain. This is Moses supposes his toesies are roses. So would I. So there you go, there's the camera. The camera is done, defunct, busted. It's a busted flush. Three batteries down and 2 hours exactly. So from now on I can only do 2 hour streams until I get the battery charge sorted, or I use the webcam. I will now adjourn for the day. It's just been a light stream today. Nothing heavy. And I'll be back this weekend. We're playing Genshin Impact on Twitch. I've been neglecting Twitch and Genshin Impact. So this weekend we're big on Twitch playing Genshin Impact. And then back for Monday, I'm doing Tesla on YouTube. Mondays is going to be Tesla and the free energy idea. We're going to have a look at that. I haven't got to the complete bottom of it yet, but I've done quite enough research to do a video on anyway. So look out for that. We'll be back with more Tartaria, more eclectic mix, more new stuff. I'll be learning to use the new computer. We'll get Steam on. Get the old Steam on. Oh, it's all coming. It's all coming. It's all happening to me now. Things are going to start happening to me now. In fact, I'll show you that before I go, because I love this. It's from The Jerk is my favourite film. I named my dog after. My second favourite. Full Metal Jacket's my favourite, but The Jerk phone book. This is how I feel. This is how I feel.
Bread.
Not this.
Bread.
Not that. Forget that. I don't even want to eat that now, whatever it is. Philadelphia, I'm never going to eat that now, thanks to you. The phone book's here.
Thank you. The new phone book's here! The new phone book's here!
Well, I wish I could get that excited about buck.
Nothing! Are you kidding? Page 73! Johnson! Maven! R! I'm somebody now! Millions of people look at this book every day! This is the kind of spontaneous publicity, your name in print, that makes people! I'm in print!
This is the kind of spontaneous publicity, my name in print, that makes people. I'm in print.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
Things are going to start happening to me now. Oh, Navin, bless you. I miss your son. Right, you be good, my little Procos. You be good. And I will see you anon.